Hey everybody, this is Alan Fine. I'm here with Dana White, Lead Explorers, which is not a travel agency, not a travel advisory. It's a
travel designing.
That's because this is Traveler Made. Traveler Made, we're going to learn about the luxury network that is meeting now in Panama City, and this is Insider Travel Report.
I found Traveler Made in 2018.
How?
That is
It's not something. Yeah, it's not something that just like that you're not going to see an advertisement in a magazine.
No, I think
it's got to be a word of mouth thing.
Definitely word of mouth, and I think they might have reached out to me through some mutual friends in the business, and I thought this is the solution for me.
Why is that?
Because it has an amazing network of not only fellow travel designers like me, who like-minded, sharing ideas, sharing thoughts, but also a network of hoteliers, and for me, most importantly, DMCs. Because for me, they are the leverage in my business. That is how I can cover the whole world through these partners. And those partners are the ones that host my families in country. So when my families go to those countries, I don't want them...
They're your eyes and ears there.
They are. They're my partners. They're the experts. They know which hotels, which restaurants, how to get great guides, what order you should do things, and that is gold. And so not only is that amazing in the planning process, but then once the families arrive, in terms of execution, there's always something that goes wrong in travel, right? Nothing is ever perfect. But what you want is someone on the ground in the time zone with the language who can fix the problem. Right. And that's what my partners do. So I see it as a three-way conversation. And at the time, I thought Traveler Made was an opportunity to meet pre-vetted DMCs. So I would say of my DMCs that I have now, and I personally find myself very loyal to them. Once we have a relationship, I feel it is a relationship. And so some of them are ones I've had since the beginning, but many of them have come from this network. And that's why it's been gold for me.
So you have no desire or need to go outside the network, so to say.
I mean, I do have a few DMCs that I've worked with from the beginning who are not part of the network, which I respect, and I think Traveler Made respects the fact that I have those long-term relationships. But anybody new that comes on board with me, I'll take from the network, yes. Now,
one of the things that we're trying to reveal for anyone who's interested, first of all, it's primarily a European organization. You're an anomaly. They want more U.S. travel designers.
They definitely do.
So let's talk about the fact that's how do you feel about being in the minority?
Or flip it around. Right. We have access to the rest of the world through the eyes.
Well said.
The network.
Right.
So even though, because I can't be an expert, even though I've been to many of these countries, I can never be an expert. And so having this global reach of a network is incredibly valuable to me.
So then I'm aware that not anyone can be a travel designer with Traveler Made.
True.
So what was that process like?
An application. So I had to provide recommendations. I had to share my financial success with them. I mean, not enough to know that I'm a legitimate.
That you've been selling. You're not just a looky-loo.
Yeah, exactly. So what is my basic revenue base? How many trips am I planning a year? And then we have to report every year. We are supposed to fill in online booking forms that tell Traveler Made exactly how much and where our clients are spending money, because then that's their leverage point, right? So the more of us who are working with a particular hotel chain or a DMC, that gives them our entire network leverage to go and get better amenities, better discounts, and all those things that make the travel so popular.
You joined how long ago?
2018.
Which means you were privileged enough to become a Serendipian.
Yes, I'm part of the Serendipians.
Well, let's explain. That's the early adopters, right?
The first movers within the group. So the Serendipians, but Quentin had a very specific view of how many people he wanted in each group within Serendipians, and once he started maxing out, in order to keep the network exclusive, the idea was then to open it up and create the Tacunian brand. Right. So to bring in additional hoteliers, but from my perspective, we're all part of one big family because
Traveler Made.
I can book Tacunian hotels. I can work with Tacunian DMCs. So to me, it's somewhat transparent. It's all part of the same family.
Right. Now, are there any costs associated?
That is the other wonderful benefit as a travel designer. There are zero costs associated other than getting myself to obviously these amazing conferences and participating in fam trips. But that was, to me, the differentiator between this network and other networks, that I didn't have to give up any of my commission. I don't have to pay large fees on an annual basis. I do pay to be part of the Pristine Mood, which I'm sure you talked to those guys about. So Pristine Mood is Traveler Made's sustainability effort focused on CSR, corporate and social responsibility.
Right.
Thank you, it's CSR. And so obviously that's a big part of travel today, not just the sustainability of do they have water bottles or wash the towels every day, but also are they investing in the community? Because in the end, those authentic experiences is what we're really selling in a destination.
And that's not required, but it makes sense to do it.
Correct. So I participated, I'm coming up on my 1-year anniversary with that part of the organization, so I do support that one financially.
And those are donations. They're not dues or anything.
Yeah, it's a small amount of money that I pay in order to be part of the effort, yes. But in general, the big picture is that the suppliers are bringing the revenue to the organization, and I get to enjoy the fruits of that.
Does Traveler Made offer any training?
Absolutely. I think what's great, they will meet you where you are. So when I was new, I was learning a lot about, I was on every webinar possible, destinations, different members of the network, how to do things, that anything. I obviously participate in that less now,
The newbie
7
stuff.
years in, but it's still there for people who are coming in, without a doubt.
And then are there technical tools that they offer that's exclusive to Traveler Made?
Right. So the intranet. So we have an intranet that will have all of our, all of the properties, all the destination management companies, all the destinations, the afloat properties, the villa properties, the private aviation, all of that is in the intranet. And each item has a champion, a Serendipian or a Takunian champion, that if I want to reach out directly and say, hey, I have a client coming to your hotel next month, can you keep an eye out for them, maybe give them a little special, or this is somebody's birthday, please take care of them. So all of that's on the intranet, including all the news and everything else that's part of that. And then that's also on an app, because everything also has to be on an app today.
And the group's been growing. You started in Mirabella, Spain.
Right.
And it got too large. I'm going to be talking to Quentin about that. And so now there's going to be 3.
Correct.
We're at the second of the 3.
Yes.
Is this the one you'll always be going to, probably?
Well, I actually was also in Phuket. So I'm one of the few people, one of the few designers who was at both this year. So Essence of Phuket in March, and now Essence of Panama in May. I am not going to Essence of Sardinia because I have another conflict. But I think the beauty of this model is you go really deep in a geography. So as a designer, the benefit is that I can really understand Asia or Central and South America deeply. So I will probably stagger my attendance, because once you go deep in 1 year, you probably don't need a full update the next year. So I would probably say choose Sardinia next year to be one that I hadn't yet done.
What leads to success sometimes is specialization. You can then go to one and specialize, or you can diversify.
I would say, I would bet, although I have no data on this, that most of the designers here are global designers. Obviously, you might have areas that you know better than others, but one of the reasons that you hire someone like me is that you might say, where should we go in March? Where should we go at Christmas time? Where should we go this summer? And so my job is to know the entire world, to say, yes, focus on this area, or it's rainy season there, or let's do this in December and not in June. So the more of a global perspective we have, the better job that we do.
Now, Quentin Desermont, he's the head guy. It's his brainchild. He wants these travel advisors to be designers, like we said. It's a more artistic, more poetic version of selling travel. Can you help the travel advisors who haven't heard about this understand that? And you, as a new one, how did you come to see the difference? Because you didn't start doing anything else.
No, I think in it's a matter of what value you're adding. So being a travel designer means you're thinking about things like where people should go, what's the order that things should be in. You're not just executing on please book me a hotel in New York for 5 days starting next Tuesday. So there is a lot of creativity, which is fun. You have to think about lots of different variables. Obviously, at the center of it is the customer, the client. So what do they want? What does their family look like? Who are they traveling with? What do they like to do? So it actually is a really fulfilling way to think about travel. And in the end, our customers, our clients, time is their most valuable resource. Right? Many of them will have the budget to travel, but they have limited time. And so they need to know that that trip is going to go well. And that's what the benefit of our expertise and then the partnerships that we've created through TravelerMade ensure that, or do the best that we can to ensure that that trip goes off without a hitch. Because you don't get another school vacation. You don't get another Christmas vacation. So it has to be good. And that's the fun of it.
Now, I'm aware all networks and organizations, they have awards. Usually it's top seller and all that. But again, TravelerMade is different. You won an award for what?
I last year won an Eidolon for being the most thorough designer as nominated by my DMC partners. So basically those partners that I was talking about that are so integral to my business said, yes, we think that you are a thorough designer.
But now, what's the name of the award?
An Eidolon. Because it's a creative, it's part of TravelerMade. They come up with great names and great symbols.
So let's talk about your journey into travel.
Absolutely. So I started as a customer. So in 2010, my husband and I pulled our 4 kids out of school for a year and traveled the world. So 350 days on the road, all 7 continents, 32 different countries. Unbelievable. Top goal of trying to make our kids citizens of the world, but also to show them that where they were growing up in the U.S. was a privilege and not an entitlement. So it was amazing for all the reasons that you'd expect, but most importantly is because we got to spend 350 days together, us against the world. So having a chance to get out of our comfort zone, having a chance to experience all of these amazing destinations in the world, geography, culture, nature, things that we don't get to see in the U.S., and I was hooked. And so when I got back from that trip, people would ask me for advice. Oh, you've been to Africa. Can I pick your brain? Oh, you've been in New Zealand. What do you think? I got off the phone one day after a 2-hour conversation, and my husband said, I think there's a business opportunity here.
Okay. Now, we're going out to 128,000 travel advisors. Some of them may want to investigate more. What do you want to tell them about what it's like to be a TravelerMade designer?
I think TravelerMade is like a family. I feel like I have a network of friends and colleagues that I can ask questions, search for information, get new ideas. I'm the founder, so sometimes it can be a lonely business, and it's nice to know that there are a lot of people out there who I can count on, who I can call up or email at WhatsApp at any time and get ideas. So it is very much a family. It's creative, it's fun, great destinations to visit, great network to create, and it's all on TravelerMade.com if you want to join us, because we'd love to have other people like us as part of this family.
But the one difference that I'm hearing is that there's no costs, but you gotta audition.
Yeah, you have to audition, but if you're good, you can be part of it.
Dana, thank you for sharing.
No, thank you.
And this is Alan Fine for Insider Travel Report.